Welcome everyone to this week's Global Intelligence Update. And as always, we've got a great guest with us. This time joining us, Tony Knight. And for those that don't know who Tony Knight is, let me give you guys a brief introduction. So Tony is a co-creator of EarthStar and visionary working to build a new global decentralized ecosystem based on conscious wealth, health, and freedom. Tony is a member of the Sixth Society, a blockchain incubator allowing him to invest in groundbreaking projects and participate in tokenizing of real-world assets. He's an expert in crypto, DeFi, and decentralizing technologies with a positive futuristic outlook that blends technology and spirituality. Beyond his tech expertise, Tony is a prolific writer, speaker, and consultant with deep knowledge in holistic therapies, ancient cultures, and human psychology. He's also a Rex Karmavir silver medalist and brings a wealth of life experience from years of global travel and entrepreneurial ventures. Tony, thanks for joining us. Really looking forward to this session. If there's anything that I missed in that intro, you're more than welcome to add it on.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. It's great to be here. I'm really honored to be able to present. Thank you. I am also actually a co-creator of a company called DeFi Freedom. DeFi is short for decentralized finance. And so, yeah, I've been teaching crypto for nearly the last 4 years. I've been researching it for 10, and I'm now ready at the point where I believe, this blockchain type system is coming to the world, and I'm really pleased to be able to present what I believe is a bit of a lead in into what we might expect, or how it's going to be, how it's going to look into some degree.
Awesome.
So yeah, so thank you. So without any further ado, sorry, my glasses, one of my arms are broke. So
Oh,
so I'll just got some slides and I'll bring those up and then we can get right into it. Let's get the slideshow up. Yeah, so what this is a big topic. So what I'm doing is I'm really just wanting to give people an overview of the infrastructure of this new what I see as a new financial and banking system that is coming to the world. And I'll use models. I'm a student of the thought leaders society in Australia, and they use a lot of modeling to explain what's quite a complex topic. So I'm trying to make it as simplified as I can. And I'll explain blockchain, decentralization, and cryptography for real world application. So currently in the world, we're in a very interesting juxtaposition in the world, where we are in what they call the fourth turning, which is the fourth cycle of 20 years. Basically, it's 4 generations, culminating in a end of a economic system, which was created around the Bretton Woods time, 1944. And we are also at the culmination of many other cycles as well, astrological cycles and long cycles of hundreds of years, thousands of years, and 26,000 years. And there's various social, economic, and financial systems that are changing, and it's all converging at this point in time. So systemic change is upon us. This is not just a superficial change. This is like a paradigm shift. As infrastructure changes, systems change, then obviously then everything we do around those systems is going to change. The US dollar is losing it's in the process of being it's been debased. I mean, we know our money has been debased through money printing for a long time, but it's in danger of losing its sole reserve status as the reserve currency of the world. And in fact, all other fiat currencies, which are tied to that, are also failing due to the excessive debt and inflation and other reasons. And then there's other mainly non-Western countries that are banding together to dethrone the US dollar and to try and create what they call a multipolar world. And in this process, everything is going digital. We're in a digital world now, but it's a centralized internet, and we still have things like cash and things like that. But we are going fully digital, where assets and money will go on the blockchain, which I will endeavor to explain what that may mean for us. And globalization, as we know it, as we knew it, is basically dead. And so we are moving into a different kind of globalization that's going to be more people-centric, I believe. So the basic model of blockchain is basically this is sort of gives you an idea of the basic model of crypto and how it's created. And what we have is we have a blockchain is what they call that's the protocol layer. That is the base layer of a new type of internet. And it is coding, just like we have DNA, that's the coding that creates our body. In a digital world, everything is code. And that code dictates the outcome and the experience of whatever is being coded. So if you think of Google is like a kind of protocol layer, except Google owns Google, and we are really it's centralized, and we have no choice but to use that. But the shareholders and the directors, they're running Google. And then you have the applications on top, like Google Maps and all of that. That's what we use, but it's permissioned and it's purely all run by Google. Whereas what's happening now is these blockchains are being created where we don't need permission, and we can basically create things for the people. So what connects a blockchain to the application is what they call digital contracts. So these digital contracts, they're automated contracts, automated algorithms, which can create, basically it's just like any physical contract, except it's all done automatically online. So contracts like from brokers, from lawyers, accountants, any kind of middleman basically can be now eliminated. And that gives us the ability to then use these blockchains in an automated way without actually having to use any middleman or seek permission. So these are the consumer applications are what we will interact with. So a lot of people are not even going to know that they're actually on a blockchain. The blockchain is going to be basically invisible, just like anything else is invisible in the internet world. But we are going to have very real changes in that. The user experience and the user interface is going to give us the ability to do banking for our own self. Basically, we could be our own banker. Social media, anything that's done online is going to basically change in fundamental ways. So if you think of blockchain as like HTTPS for internet, that is actually a protocol which is immutable. It does not ever change. It is absolutely set in stone. And so basically HTTPS, email, SMTP, these are protocols that are embedded into the centralized internet. And so now we've got the opportunity where we can create something completely brand new, and that's going to ripple through into the physical world in very amazing and interesting ways. So, like to further expand on that, basically this means that we can create a decentralized world based on decentralized protocols. So basically, what is decentralization? It's basically where there's no single point of failure. That is basically where it's peer-to-peer transacting with no middlemen at all. It's where we have the opportunity to earn passive income opportunities, where we can, instead of the bank taking our money and then lending it out and earning an income on our money, which we don't no longer own, we can now do that for ourselves. We can become the lenders. We can do what's called staking. So staking is like, if you imagine in banking, we have term deposits, and you put your money into a term deposit, and it's frozen for 6 months or a year or whatever the term is, and you supposedly get higher interest rates. We can now basically do the same, but with the project that is the blockchain-based project that we're talking about. We can then we earn a yield from that because we are strengthening that project. We are giving them liquidity, which they then can use. And we can also, whenever you're trading around the world, whenever you're sending money, there always has to be a trading pair. There's always two sides to money. The money that you're sending and the money that the other person is receiving. And so when you're doing global payments, that is managed by the SWIFT bank transfer system, and it all goes through the incumbent banking system. Whereas now we people can now submit the money into the pool, and we can now use other currencies, these other currencies that are coming, which I'll explain, that are going to replace as well as also run alongside the existing system. There's going to be a big reorganization of the whole money printing. The debt situation is going to be significantly reined in, because with blockchain we're going to be able to have asset backing. So there's going to be a much greater privacy in our personal details and much more transparency in our transactions. And we now have the opportunity to monetize our data and our money, which means we can be our own bank and we can also be our own banker. We can basically, when I'm talking about the applications on the blockchain, there are now decentralized banks being created by a company like Six Society, which I'm a member of. And then we can do banker type transactions there, which normally are done by our own bank, like the peer-to-peer lending and the staking options, as I mentioned above, and submitting our money, putting our money to work into the liquidity pool, which greases the wheels of the financial system. Liquidity is really the heartbeat of any economy. And if there's no liquidity, nothing happens. And what's happening now is basically the debt has got so big, and the interest payments are so large that is soaking up liquidity. So and every time they print money, they're creating more debt, which is really just compounding the problem. So the servicing of the debt has now become a major issue. Whereas now, this system is going to give us much more say in what's happening. And we're going to have a much more people-centric type system that's coming in. So when we talk about cryptocurrency is actually a bit of a misnomer. Most cryptos they're not currencies. They're mainly crypto assets. But there's a very big difference between crypto and also digital money that also is going to be issued from governments and private organizations. So cryptocurrency is as I say, there'll be very few real currencies that are doing global payments. There will be a handful of them that we know, and that's coming under what's called open banking. So open banking is a new banking rules that was created in London in 2004. And under that, they were originally working on blockchain. They've been working on blockchain and cryptography for many, many years. But originally the banks, I think, just wanted to have basically a fully digitized fiat currency, a cashless society that was basically just creating a new form of fiat, still using US dollars, but the difference being the money is on the blockchain. But since then, there's been Bitcoin. Bitcoin came out, Bitcoin got created. And when Bitcoin was created, it was basically creating the first blockchain as well. So that immediately opened up a whole new can of worms because Bitcoin was created open source. And then from that, many other currencies have been created from Bitcoin because it was open source. Any technologist could basically, any developer could then, they started creating different kinds of cryptos. And most of them are crypto assets. So what I mean by crypto assets is that they are going to give what's called tokenization. And tokenization is a big part where a physical real world asset will be given a digital signature and put on the blockchain. And so that means that an asset like, say, property, it could be anything. It could be, I am going to go into this a bit more in depth, but it's basically giving an asset a digital signature on the blockchain, which means it could be bought and sold without a middleman at the speed of light, at the same speed you're sending an email. Our assets in our world are going to be tokenized and then put on a blockchain. And then effectively I could buy, say, a property from somewhere on the other side of the world without using a lawyer. And the contracts, the automated contracts I mentioned, the digital contracts would do the whole transaction. That is using AI and other types of algorithms. So these crypto assets are going to be the lion's share of what we call crypto. There's also the decentralized finance protocols. Remember, protocol is the base layer. These are the ones that are doing the decentralized finance. You may know of a project called Ethereum. Ethereum was the #2 token, and it is the base layer for a lot of the decentralized finance. And the difference there is that it's blending a currency with the decentralized finance through the contracts. So basically, it's basically just doing a whole lot more functions. And then between the currencies, cryptocurrencies and crypto assets, everything that we do in the physical world will be duplicated onto the internet world, into the digital world. And blockchain will basically would hold the ownership of your assets. So this is going to create both positives and negatives. It is what it is. So we are going to have to be very on our game when this comes out. I believe it's not far away. It's getting fast tracked in America at the moment. And then you've got digital fiat, or what's called stable coins. And these are what the banks are going to use instead of, we get payments now via digital money, but they are centralized. They are created, basically out of thin air, and they are not on a blockchain. So the digital fiat is basically, it's a type of tokenization. They are tokenizing cash or tokenizing dollars, fiat money, and putting it on a blockchain. And that makes it super efficient for the banks to send the money, even though it's a double-edged sword for them, because the cryptocurrencies and assets are going to take a lot of their business. They also they are going to control, I believe, a lot of these stable coins. They're also sometimes known as a CBDC, or central bank digital currency, but I don't think the central banks are going to control them. It'll be coming from the individual banks. So basically, this is going to be like a reinvention of what we have now in the traditional system with a few tweaks. But then we're going to have the more decentralized system as well. So there's going to be like a kind of a parallel type economy could well emerge. You'll have basically could have two kind of systems running side by side. And at the center of all this is the liquidity of the world. And liquidity is going to change from dollars and, whatever currency, euros, dollars, whatever currencies we have now. And it's going to be a mixture of cryptocurrencies and crypto assets and these stable coins. So it's going to be a hybrid type system that's going to come in. And the money that we have in our existing system is going to move across into the blockchain using the blockchain as the rails. The blockchain and those smart contracts or automated contracts, they are going to be the rails and the facilitation of moving money in the old system into this new system. So it's going to be could be a very chaotic and confusing time for some time. So, so what is tokenization? So tokenization is where all real world assets, services, and systems will be given a digital signature on the blockchain. It's where immediate transference of our assets, our property, vehicles, could be gold, could be any precious metals, products, and businesses can be bought and sold and transferred at the same speed as sending money. That's going to free up a lot of fees that we are paying for things, for sending money or for buying and selling, are going to get freed up, and there's going to be a lot of disruption to some of the bigger corporates and governments around the world, but they're also going to, it's going to be a real washing machine of change. And it is also a real opportunity for us to participate actively in this new global economy. It'll mean there's no paper ownership records. Everything will be recorded on the blockchain. And as long as it's recorded on a more decentralized blockchain, then it's going to have a lot more privacy. But there will be a centralized aspect to it that the banks will control. And so we have to just be, cautious of that. So everything will be digital, everything will eventually be online. But the entryways into blockchain will still be through the internet, but you're actually going into like a different part of the internet. It's going to be a completely different experience. And your ownership is going to be transferred into the blockchain world. That's for everything, for our money, for our data, and for our assets. It's going to mean a much greater participation by everyone in the global financial system. People in India, people in Africa, people in the more third world type countries, if they've got a mobile phone, then they can enter in and they can participate in this new system. And there are a lot of projects that are building in these countries in order to onboard the people so that they can basically participate in the transferring, the buying and selling, the sending and receiving of money is going to be freed up. There's a lot of migrants that are living in other countries. They get charged arm and a leg to send money back home. And this is all going to be become much more efficient and a much more less involvement by middlemen. In fact, a significant, huge change there, where anyone that's in the middle is going to is basically going to get disrupted pretty heavily. But we can also be we can receive, instead of the fees that go to the banks, we receive the fees by submitting our money in that the staking or as the liquidity provider. We effectively are the ones that then receive the fees. So they're rerouted into those of us who are participating in this. So really, it's like an emergence of a new type of globalized world where we're monetizing the blockchain. So monetizing the blockchain basically means that when they switch it on, the blockchain is going to become the place where everyone is going to go to do anything, to buy and sell, to send money, to even businesses will be there. There's all sorts of things that are going to spring up using AI. AI is going to be a major part of facilitating this new system. So on the left here, you've got the blockchain. It's a new type of internet. Its foundation is based upon the coding. So you can have centralized blockchain or decentralized blockchain and everything in between. So the code is really king here, not cash. That code is what we research to determine the outcome, because the code will run right through the system to the end user. To our use of this system will depend on how what type of coding has been used, and that's a whole big rabbit hole in itself. They're known as protocols, which means they're immutable. Means once the code is set, it cannot be changed. At this level, it cannot be changed. Just like HTTPS always runs the same way, the web browsing experience is an immutable type of protocol. It'll be the same with the blockchain. Our ownership will be recorded here. We will have much greater transparency in many areas, and we'll have a much greater level of trust and privacy, especially if it's decentralized. So this is all basically this is the foundation. Then, as I say, we're going to have a centralized version of our existing fiat system running alongside a decentralized peer-to-peer new system. So it's going to be a little bit strange at first. And basically this system is breaking up the existing hegemony. Basically, you could arguably say USA has got a bit of a monopoly on the issuance of money as a reserve currency of the world. Every other currency is basically tied. Everything is denominated in US dollars. So we're going to have other currencies, I think, that are going to come in to play. And the US dollar itself is going to be fully digitized on a blockchain as well, which is going to give us a lot more transparency as to where money's going, and it's going to eliminate a lot of fraud and money laundering and all that sort of thing. So it will be a hybrid system and a potential parallel system with the decentralized aspect. And there's going to be many different types of blockchain. There's many different types of versions. So there will be lots of different iterations. And I think we are going to an asset-backed system more than what we have today. When they took gold off the money standard in 1971, they took gold as a backing from the US dollar. That gave them a license to print money ad infinitum, and that is now basically going to come to a bit of a halt. And we are going to see assets and collateral. We're going to see the system become collateralized, and they will use things like probably gold, and they will tokenize it, and they will put that on the blockchain, and everyone will be able to see that. So that's going to be a big change as well. So over on the right, then what that's going to lead to is banking is going to change as we know it. In many areas, you won't even look like it has changed, except money seems to have got cheaper to stand and people will not know the difference. But we know that it is actually quite different at a fundamental level. But with the decentralized aspect of it, we are going to be able to be our own bank. We are going to be able to set up banking on the blockchain, and we can pay people without any middlemen. We can literally use our bank to earn passive income. We can also interact with the digital fiat side, and we can buy and sell assets from there, and we can even hold them in our digital wallets, as well as holding our digital cash. Global payments and trade finance is going to change significantly. Trade finance, import, export, the whole freighting, shipping, and all of that is all going to become tokenized. And it means the supply chain is going to be monitored by the blockchain, and everything, you'll know exactly where your goods are at any time, anywhere in the world. It'll be paperless. Currently, when you're importing things, you usually got a stack of paper. That's going to be completely eliminated. And payroll is, people are going to get paid via the blockchain. There's going to be a whole new way of asset management and asset transfers. Everything's going to happen much, much quicker and much more efficient. For the younger ones, the millennials, they love gaming. This is where actually blockchain's first application really started, was in the gaming sector, where they get paid to play, and then they earn these tokens or they earn credits, and they can exchange that for real money. And that is a form of tokenization as well. And then people watch them play games, and they're monetizing the gaming so that people can get paid. to play games. And that is over 1 billion people in the world love gaming. So that's quite a big area. And because millennials are really love blockchain and crypto, they've been a prime driver, not so much us older people, more the younger ones. Insurance, you will be able to literally submit, we'll be able to have much more transparency in the insurance game. We'll be able to submit money to the insurance pools as well, as they have a pool of money for paying out claims and so forth. It's going to completely change that industry as well, and make it much more transparent. And we'll be able to earn passive income in multiple ways through this system as well. Our participation in this system will be of a much higher degree than what we have now. We have to be an accredited investor. You have to have a certain amount of assets to be able to play in this system. So basically, by putting your money into a crypto, you're essentially crowdfunding that project. That's really what it is. It's really a crowdfunding. It's a way of getting startup money for projects, and you're investing in that currency or that asset, and then they building upon it. And then if they get used in the real world, then these are going to be the new Facebooks and Amazons of the world. So it's like it's going to disrupt even established big businesses, but most of them are moving into the blockchain at lightning speed right now. So they can see the change and they're trying to get ahead of it. But there's going to be a lot of other new players coming onto the plate. So basically, in summary, we now have a choice in currencies we choose to have. It won't just be the US dollar. There will be currencies like there's Bitcoin, there's Ethereum, there's XRP, there's XLM, and there's a number of other. There's actually a lot of tokens out there at the moment. Most of them are going to go. I believe it will get down to about a few hundred tokens in the end, and most of them will be crypto assets where you buy into the token. Instead of buying a stock, you will buy the token, you'll buy the crypto, and then you are holding a currency and an asset as well. You can get the capital gain upon it and you can trade it. And so that is really something that is very, very new. So everyone in the world will participate in the global economy if you have a phone, if you choose. The current money system is basically dead, and a new system is coming in the next few months maybe to a year. This is what they call the Great Reset. They labeled it the Great Reset. It's something that the big NGOs have also been working on, but in a more centralized way. But with the advent of Bitcoin, as I was saying, there's a whole decentralized aspect to it as well. And they have to now accommodate that because it's got so big and there's so many people involved that they can't really stop it. So what they're trying to do now is they're trying to get ahead of it. That's why the American government now created a Bitcoin reserve, and they're talking about a crypto stockpile where the government are going to literally take on these assets and monetize them. And so that is like a huge thing. So that's where they're going. The regulations will come through. I think America will regulate these currencies by the end of the year, and then mass adoption will really start. Cryptocurrency is only as good as the issuer and the blockchain code it is based upon. So we have to do our research as to where's the best place to go for value for money and for privacy and all of that. There's going to be a lot for us to learn in some of those areas. The blockchain and crypto is about to be as I say, it's about to be regulated this year for general use. America have been very slow. At the moment, it's like you can buy an apartment or a car with crypto now in Dubai. In Singapore, it's become very ubiquitous there. Hong Kong is also driving it. Even the UK are ahead of America at the moment. But basically, I think they're waiting for America to catch up. And they are now. They're moving very fast now because they realize if they don't get adopting it now, it'll get out of their control. So there will be a hybrid centralized fiat digital system and a decentralized system. And I think these will sort of run alongside each other for some time. And then I think eventually it'll go more and more decentralized, more and more away from government and more into the people. So we can be our own bank and banker in this new decentralized system. We're going to have a lot more a lot more say and a lot more involvement, I believe, in what's coming. So that's I know there's a heck of a lot there, and I know some areas it might be a bit like hard to understand, but we could field some questions.
Yeah. Tony, wow, lot shared and very, very interesting. I feel like we just got a heads up for those that are listening in and that are live on the call. Tony, we've got a few questions here. Steph, let me start with Stephanie first. In the beginning of this call, you mentioned a chaotic time for some time. How many years do you think it will take to be normal again? Will it be 10 years, or what would be your answer?
I actually think it's going to come into. I think that it's going to come into a semblance of order quicker than we might think. I think about I'm thinking about 3 to 5 years. I think 2030 onwards, 2030 is a big date. And I think from 2030 onwards, we'll start to have a bit more balance. But I think particularly the next 2 years are going to be a bit topsy-turvy as we start to try and get our heads around what is coming. Some people, particularly people, disadvantaged people, on welfare, or older people, or people who are just disenfranchised from the system, they're going to have a bit of a hard time, I think. But this is why I sort of wanted to get the information out there, because it is going to have such a profound effect on the world, and it's so unknown. There's so few people. There's only 7% of the population that own crypto, and I think out of those 7%, probably 80% of them don't even know what they're actually doing. They're just there as some kind of get rich quick scheme. And most of them are not getting rich at all. They're actually losing more money than they gain. So, yeah, it's really going to be dependent upon our knowledge and our level of awareness as to how quickly we adapt.
Thanks for that, Tony. Then Sam says, you are opening a new pathway or neurons in my mind, and he thanks you for that. He also asks, does the criteria exist in which one to choose?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I think we might have gone past that content. So, Dr. Sam, if you're still on the call, can you just unmute? Maybe just ask a question, please.
Yes, Matt, how are you?
Good.
Good. My question is, because there are different kinds of crypto coins, right?
Yeah.
I'm just checking if there's any particular criteria that one may look at if you want to follow, instead of maybe jumping up and down or following some blind path in your life. Is there any maybe sort of recommendation or criteria that one can use?
Great. That's a great question. And yes, there is. It's basically looking at the crypto that are going to have a real world use case, the ones that are ahead of the pack. I mentioned about open banking and this new messaging standard called ISO 222. ISO stands for International Standards Organization, and the 222 is a reference to 2022 when they created it. The tokens that are being aligned with that messaging system, I think are very much ones to look at. And the projects that are doing the tokenization and are getting they are getting regulated. They are actually already, many of them are meeting all the regulations, even though they're not clearly outlined. Through our research, we know which ones are ahead of the pack in that sense. They are the ones that we are looking at. We are not looking at meme coins or, some pudgy penguin coin or some coin that's really going to be basically useless. It's the ones that are actually affecting this new system, and a lot of these have been building for a long time. A lot of them have been quite long-standing projects that have been working very quietly in the background. They don't get a lot of media attention, and they don't get a lot of marketing because they want it that way. They want to be hidden because they want to be able to build in relative anonymity. So those are where I really put a lot of emphasis. It's the new tokens, the global payments of the world, and these top flight crypto assets. They are the ones. And you can go to a website called coinmarketcap.com, and out of the top 100 tokens, I think a lot of those tokens in that website are the ones that are the best to look at. I can mention a few cryptos that I have invested in. One of them is called XRP. I believe they are associated with a company called Ripple. They have built a lot of the rails. If you think of a blockchain system as like a new railway track system, and the crypto are the carriages that run on those rails. They're building that rail system out. This company is heavily involved in that, along with another company, another not-for-profit actually, called Stellar. They are also working alongside Ripple, and their token is called XLM. And then there's a basket of others. There's about 10 others that, if you ever want to know more, I can, we can swap contact and I can send you some areas to go look. And then you can save a lot of time.
Thank you.
Great question, Sam. Really appreciate that. And I'll put the link in the chat, guys. Coinmarketcap.com. And
Yes.
Tony, I've got another question from Agnes. What will or could happen to the money in the bank or invested via the companies?
Yeah, that's a great question as well. I think they will turn into the new digital cash. They call it digital cash here in New Zealand, which is a bit of a oxymoron, but it's that stable coin. I was talking about the digital fiat or stable coins. They call them stable coins because they back them with fiat money, which is kind of like ironic when you think about it, that now fiat money has been used to back a crypto. But I believe the banks, I think all the banks will end up creating their own kind of stable coin in the dollar denomination of that country. So I'm in New Zealand, so we will have a New Zealand issued stable coins from our banks. And I think they won't tell you that it's fundamentally changed. They'll just say, oh, there will be some minor iterations, but all of, say all the, everything like an iceberg, you only see the top part from the water and you don't see all what's under the water. It's going to be a bit like that with blockchain. There's going to be a lot of things happening under there that we aren't fully aware of. And the little bit that we see, it might just seem like minor changes, but it's really not when you understand with tokenization, when that kicks in, and when you start eliminating all these middlemen and using AI to do things that humans do, that's going to be a radical change. Loss of jobs, upskilling into new areas, learning a technology that's quite complex. There's going to be a lot of changes there. So, yeah, but yeah, for all intents and purposes, it'll seem like your money is still the same. So that's where a lot of people will be kind of caught unawares.
Yeah. Thanks for that question, Agnes, and great answer there, Tony. Rado, just to answer your question, I put the link up in the chat, coinmarketcap.com, right, so you can check it out there. And then, Tony, just to end it off, you gave us so much information, and I think we got a head start from you sharing all this information. And I want to ask you before we end it off, with all the information that you've given us, if there are 3 tips, what 3 tips would you give us? Going forward with the information you've just shared.
Don't, as I sort of reiterate what I said before, focus on crypto projects that have real world use case, that are building out something that is tangible, that's connected to tangible things in the physical world. The beauty of blockchain is it can help us with a more transparent system, and we can get more privacy and ownership records are very secure. It's cryptography, so it's very encrypted, it's secure. But we want those records of our money and our data connected to physical things. So look at the tokenizing projects, look at the ones that are affecting the new global payments, because that's where the money's going to go. And like you imagine, like in the gold rush days, a lot of people, they didn't make the money on the gold, they made the gold on the picks and shovels. So look at the projects that are providing the picks and shovels and look at the base layer. Look at the blockchain protocols to find out if the applications that are built on them are worth investing in, if you know what I mean. So the veracity of that layer 1, well, they call it layer 1 because it's kind of like a base layer. So I would be directing my attention into understanding how the blockchain works before you even think about how it's going to work in the world. Yeah, it's like, you don't build a house on quicksand, and it's the same with this. You don't want to invest in a blockchain that could just disappear, or it's not got the pedigree that it needs, if you like. So yeah, focus on the base layers, focus on real world use case, and I would say focus on the real currencies that are moving the money around the world.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that, Tony. Guys, I'm sharing Tony. If you'd like to connect with him on LinkedIn, I've just shared his link there. You guys are more than welcome to add him. And yeah, reach out, check him out. So informative. I really believe we've got a head start with all this information that Tony shared. So thank you so much, Tony. Agnes,
You're welcome. Thank you.
Agnes,
Also, one other thing, we have a website, defifreedom.nz. If anyone wants to go onto our website, we have a lot of information there as well. DEFI freedom, all one word, .nz.
got it. I've just shared that into the chat as well. And got it. Just one more here from Agnes. Could you recommend a book or a website to learn more about blockchain?
Well, yeah, apart from our own website, I suggest coinmarketcap.com, because when you go in there, every crypto is listed as actually a link, as a hyperlink. And then when you go and click on that, it opens up a plethora of information. And then you can go into the actual project's website, you get a chart, you get to see, all the detail, how much volume is going through, what the price of the token is. You've got a absolute, so much information in that website. It's not funny. So coinmarketcap.com, and you literally everything's clickable, and you can drill down into what they call the white paper as well, which is like a business plan. And then, but you can see the volume, and you see some of the volume of money that's going through some of these projects. Some of it's pretty eye-opening. It's huge. It's really starting to build up. There's some serious volume there. So these people are not playing around. This is not funny money or play money. This is serious business.
Oh, awesome. Thanks for that, Tony. And just want to say thanks again for being with us today. Really appreciate it. So much insight, so much shared, and I think everyone's going to love this session. So just want to thank everyone being here live, the offline viewers or listeners. Just want to thank you guys for all the support. And then, of course, our special guest, Tony. You are such a legend. Really appreciate you being here.
Thank you all for being here, and thank you, Chris. Much appreciated.
It's all a pleasure. I'll see you guys next week, and I hope everyone have a great week ahead. Bye, everyone.
Bye. 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 See you.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.